You may feel like life is moving too fast, like the answers you seek are just out of reach. Yet there is a quiet voice guiding you, whispering through the still moments, through the pauses you often overlook. Today, God speaks a promise so profound that it can change the way you move through every day. This is not loud, not dramatic, but subtle, like the first light brushing over the horizon before dawn. The greatest work in your life is being prepared, often unseen, in partnership with your higher self. Every challenge, every moment of waiting, is shaping a path that leads to something far beyond what the mind can calculate. There are ancient teachings, from the Shaolin masters to sages long forgotten, that remind us strength grows quietly, patience is a skill, and trust in timing is sacred. In this video you will uncover the deeper rhythm of life, the hidden currents that carry divine messages. You will learn how to recognize the subtle signs guiding you, how stillness can become your greatest ally, and why the smallest choices now will shape the extraordinary outcomes ahead. You'll discover insights rarely shared, moments in history and spiritual practice, where silence, patience, and unwavering focus created miracles beyond imagination. Stay with me until the end, because these principles are not just ideas, they are practices that can transform your daily life into a living expression of divine collaboration. By the last moment of this video, you will understand why patience, awareness, and inner alignment are not optional, but essential for receiving the greatest promise God has reserved for you. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire. Subscribe and step into a path where ancient wisdom meets the pulse of your own life. There is a river that never rushes, yet it carves mountains and shapes valleys with quiet persistence. True strength moves in the same way, soft, patient, and steady. Shaolin wisdom has always taught that power is not in the noise or the rush, but in the stillness that precedes every action. It is in the calm mind, the silent heart, where clarity arises and decisions are born not from impulse but from understanding. In the midst of life's chaos, most run toward action, seeking answers in movement. Yet, the greatest guidance often arrives in the pauses. By cultivating silence, by letting thoughts settle like sediment in water, a space opens within you, a space where divine insight can flow freely. Mindfulness is not simply observing the world, it is creating a sanctuary within, where every beat of your heart becomes a signal, every breath a reminder that guidance is always present if you are willing to listen. Moments of uncertainty are tests of inner discipline. The world may push, pull, and demand reaction, but the true path is not to respond immediately. Observe first, feel deeply, and allow understanding to rise from within. Like a Shaolin monk sitting in meditation, you learn to wait, to feel the pulse of life without rushing it. Listening, not reacting, becomes a practice of power, a power that cannot be taken, only realized. Even in difficulty, even when the mind screams for answers, stillness teaches patience and perception. It is here in the quiet that patterns emerge, connections appear, and the unseen hand of guidance moves with precision. Strength does not shout. It waits, it watches, and it acts with a certainty born from silence. The moment you honor stillness, you align with a force far greater than any obstacle, far deeper than any fear. Every seed carries within it the potential for a towering tree, yet it must first endure darkness, soil, and time before reaching the sunlight. So too, the greatest work in life requires preparation, not haste. God's hand moves through patience, shaping the mind, heart, and spirit long before the outward results appear. True mastery is rarely sudden. It grows quietly through the repeated acts that are often unseen and uncelebrated. Discipline is the quiet forge where character is tempered. Each morning ritual, each mindful breath, each decision to act with integrity builds a foundation that the world cannot shake. The Shaolin masters understood this centuries ago. Strength is cultivated in the repetition of small, deliberate actions, in the unwavering commitment to process over immediate reward. It is not the spectacle of victory that matters, but the careful tending of the inner garden. Preparation is not passive. It is a living practice. Reading, reflection, meditation, and mindful engagement with daily tasks align the heart with purpose. The mind learns focus. The spirit learns patience. With each deliberate act, the invisible scaffolding of your destiny grows stronger, supporting the extraordinary work that will eventually unfold. When the moment comes to act, it does so effortlessly, guided by all that has been quietly built before. Like a bowstring drawn slowly and intentionally, tension is held with precision so that when released, the arrow finds its mark without hesitation. The process itself becomes sacred, a dialogue between inner discipline and divine timing. The greatest transformations are not in the rush toward outcomes, but in the careful cultivation of readiness. Every repetition, every mindful choice, every disciplined step is preparation for a work greater than the self, a masterpiece orchestrated with patience, precision, and unseen wisdom. Fear is a shadow that stretches longer than the moment itself, whispering that the path ahead is too vast, too uncertain. It clouds perception, distorts intention, and obscures the quiet guidance that flows from within. Doubt often arrives alongside fear, subtle yet persistent, questioning worth, timing, and ability. Yet personal mastery begins not by denying these feelings, but by facing them with calm awareness, observing without surrender. The ancient masters knew that fear is not an enemy to be destroyed, but a teacher to be understood. It signals where attention is needed, where the mind clings to illusions rather than truth. To release it is not to erase it, but to acknowledge its presence and allow it to move through, like clouds drifting across a clear sky. Each moment of recognition weakens its grip, creating space for clarity, courage, and divine guidance. A simple practice rooted in mindfulness can transform fear from a barrier into a guide. Begin by breathing slowly and deeply, letting each inhale fill the chest with calm, each exhale carry tension away. Name the fear quietly. This is fear. This is doubt without judgment. Visualize it as a dark leaf floating on a stream, moving steadily downstream, away from the mind's still center. With each breath, feel the heart expand into patience and trust, observing sensations without reaction. Over time, this practice trains the mind to notice fear without being controlled by it. Doubt becomes a signal rather than a chain, a gentle nudge to pause, reflect, and act with intention. In the discipline of inner mastery, the calm mind becomes a vessel for divine flow, able to receive insight unclouded by hesitation. Fear is no longer a blockade, but a companion guiding toward greater presence, deeper awareness, and the quiet unfolding of life's highest work. Every action carries energy, and every thought sends ripples into the world. Intentions are the unseen currents beneath the surface of life, shaping outcomes far beyond what the eyes can see. When purpose aligns with universal flow, the ordinary transforms into the extraordinary. Divine work moves effortlessly through those whose inner direction is clear, whose hearts are open, and whose minds are disciplined. The Shaolin masters teach the principle of beginner's mind, an approach that embraces each moment as new, free from assumptions and rigid expectations. In stillness and openness, the heart senses what is truly required, and the mind responds without hesitation. A beginner's mind is not naive. It is precise, alert, and receptive. It dissolves preconceptions and invites guidance, allowing intentions to resonate with the deeper currents of life rather than clashing against them. Clarity is the bridge between thought and action. Each choice, each gesture, each decision carries the weight of intention. When thoughts are scattered or clouded, energy dissipates. When intentions are refined, focus magnifies. Aligning intentions is a discipline of the mind, a deliberate practice of returning to purpose with each breath, each moment, and each action. It requires honesty, self-reflection, and the courage to release what no longer serves the higher path. In practice, this can be as simple as pausing before speaking or acting, feeling the alignment of the mind, heart, and spirit. Ask internally, does this serve the path I wish to follow? When intentions are harmonized with awareness, actions flow naturally, effortlessly, as if guided by a force beyond control. In this alignment, life becomes a co-creation, where divine energy moves through quiet focus, discipline, and a heart fully present. The world responds not to desire alone, but to the purity and clarity with which one moves. Time carries its own wisdom, often invisible to the restless mind. Great things unfold according to a rhythm that cannot be hurried. Divine timing is precise, deliberate, and beyond human calculation. Impatience is like pulling a seed from the soil before its roots have taken hold, an attempt to force growth that yields only weakness. True mastery respects the natural unfolding of life, waiting with steady attention as each stage prepares the next. The Shaolin masters understood that patience is not idle waiting, but an active cultivation of awareness and discipline. Through meditation, the mind learns to observe without interference, to feel the currents of life without grasping. Each breath becomes a lesson in timing, each moment a teacher of endurance. Repetitive training, whether in movement, ritual, or study, reinforces the principle that excellence is built gradually, step by step, layer by layer. There is a rhythm to mastery, and rushing only distorts the pattern. In the practice of patience, one learns to discern between what requires action and what requires stillness. There is power in restraint, clarity in observation, and strength in the ability to wait without frustration. The mind trained in patience does not chase outcomes. It honors the process, allowing insight, skill, and opportunity to ripen naturally. Life, like the seasons, has its own timing. Just as a tree bears fruit only when it has grown strong enough to support it, so too do our greatest achievements emerge when preparation, intention, and readiness converge. Patience is not a passive surrender, but a conscious alignment with this sacred rhythm. By embracing the discipline of waiting, the heart learns trust, the mind gains clarity, and every step moves in harmony with the unseen currents guiding toward the highest purpose. The path to the greatest life is rarely illuminated in full. Most of the steps lie hidden, unseen beneath the surface of daily reality. To walk this path requires more than planning or calculation. It requires trust, a deep, unwavering faith in the currents guiding life, even when the destination remains invisible. Those who seek certainty often stumble, but those who move with quiet confidence find that each step reveals the next naturally, with perfect timing. Faith is not blind, it is the clarity of intention married to discipline. Knowledge alone cannot create transformation. The Shaolin masters practiced with unwavering focus, performing movements and meditations without immediate reward, yet each repetition built strength, skill, and understanding over time. Similarly, trusting the unseen path means acting fully in the present, with attention and integrity, without needing to see the entire journey. It is an art of alignment between inner conviction and outward action. Trust is active, not passive. It does not mean waiting idly for miracles to appear. It means engaging with life fully, making choices rooted in purpose, and believing that unseen forces support the effort of disciplined hearts. Each deliberate action, no matter how small, becomes a declaration of faith, a step along a path that may seem uncertain but is guided by wisdom beyond comprehension. To practice this trust is to train the mind to release the illusion of control, to recognize that surrender is not weakness but mastery. Like a river flowing around stones, life moves when resistance is softened and direction is embraced. Every challenge, every hesitation, every unmarked turn becomes a lesson in faith. By walking steadily, with awareness and courage, the invisible path gradually unfolds, revealing a life shaped not by chance, but by the quiet certainty of disciplined trust. The moment we step towards something greater, resistance often appears. It is subtle at first, a hesitation, a question, a weight on the chest, but it grows, testing resolve and patience. God's greatest work rarely unfolds in ease. It moves through challenge, calling forth courage from the heart. Comfort zones are illusions of safety, and stepping beyond them is where transformation begins. Resistance is not a signal of failure. It is a mirror of growth. Every obstacle encountered is a lesson in discipline, a reminder that inner strength is forged in struggle. The Shaolin masters knew this well. Every strike, every stance, every hour of repetitive training was designed to confront resistance, not to defeat others, but to conquer the limitations within oneself. Pain, difficulty, and friction were not punishments. They were teachers shaping focus, resilience, and mastery. True courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act despite it. It is the quiet decision to face discomfort, to lean into what challenges the mind and body, and to move forward with steady determination. When the heart aligns with purpose, resistance becomes an ally, signaling areas where growth is needed most. Each trial is a step towards self-mastery, a measure of readiness for the work that lies ahead. In embracing obstacles, the mind learns clarity, the spirit gains flexibility, and the heart discovers its own power. Challenges are not interruptions to the path, they are the path itself. Every difficulty faced with patience, focus, and courage strengthens the unseen foundation of achievement. By recognizing resistance as a sacred teacher, life becomes a training ground where fear is transformed into wisdom, hesitation into confidence, and every challenge becomes a deliberate step toward the greatest work awaiting beyond the edge of comfort. True greatness is rarely born from effort alone. The most profound work arises when human action meets divine guidance, when intention and spirit move in harmony. Life is not a solitary endeavor. It is a collaboration, a co-creation where each choice, each step is guided by an unseen hand, responding to the discipline, clarity, and integrity we bring to our journey. Mindful choices are the language of this partnership. Every decision, whether small or significant, carries energy that aligns or misaligns with the deeper currents of life. Acting with awareness transforms routine actions into sacred offerings. Discipline shapes these choices, ensuring consistency and alignment over time, while integrity roots them in truth, preventing the heart from straying into illusions of control or ego-driven desire. In this way, human effort becomes a vessel for divine work, moving with purpose rather than friction. The Shaolin masters practiced this principle in every stance and movement. Each kata, each meditation was an exercise in aligning body, mind, and spirit, not to dominate, but to harmonize with the natural flow of energy around them. Strength was measured not only in technique, but in the ability to act in accordance with principle, to allow the greater force to move through them rather than against them. Life, too, is a shared journey. Challenges, opportunities, and moments of clarity are invitations to participate with God, not to struggle alone. By cultivating patience, mindfulness, and discipline, the ordinary becomes extraordinary, and every action becomes a contribution to a larger design. Trusting this partnership, one learns that greatness is not a solitary conquest, but a dance, a delicate balance where human effort and divine guidance converge, creating outcomes far beyond the scope of any single intention or ambition. Gratitude is the quiet current that shapes the soul, subtle yet transformative. When the heart rests in thankfulness, energy aligns with purpose, and life reveals its hidden rhythms. It is not only the great moments, the triumphs, or the signs of visible success that warrant attention, but the small, often overlooked blessings that carry the deepest wisdom. A warm breath in the morning, the rhythm of steps along a path, the simple presence of life itself. Awareness sharpens the mind and deepens the spirit. By observing the details of each day, one cultivates presence, humility, and resilience. Difficult moments no longer break the heart, but refine it, like steel tempered by fire. The Shaolin masters understood that mastery begins with this practice. Even the most ordinary tasks, sweeping the floor, arranging stones, performing a stance, become sacred when approached with full attention and reverence. Each act becomes an opportunity to honor life, to connect with the currents of energy that flow through all things. Gratitude and awareness are not passive, they are disciplines of the mind and heart. When practiced daily, they create a lens through which the world is seen more clearly. Obstacles become teachers, challenges become lessons, and the ordinary becomes extraordinary. Every interaction, every breath, every choice is imbued with meaning when approached mindfully, and the heart learns to recognize the abundance that is always present, even in simplicity. Living in gratitude is also a practice of humility. It reminds the soul that the path is never walked alone, that life is a collaboration between effort and unseen guidance. Awareness teaches discernment, helping one respond with wisdom rather than reaction. Together, they form a foundation for inner mastery, allowing each day, each moment to unfold as a sacred opportunity, a living meditation where the ordinary carries the weight and wonder of the divine. Every great journey begins quietly, within the heart. Stillness, preparation, patience, trust, courage, and gratitude are not just practices. They are the pillars that support divine co-creation. By cultivating these qualities, life begins to move in harmony with a higher purpose, and the unseen forces guiding us can flow freely through every action. God's greatest work is unfolding in your life, often in silence, beyond the rush of immediate results. Moments of waiting, challenges, and small acts of discipline are all part of this sacred process. By remaining mindful and open, you allow these currents to guide you, trusting that each step, no matter how subtle, is moving you toward extraordinary transformation. Let this be your affirmation. By embracing stillness, cultivating discipline, practicing patience, acting with courage, and living in gratitude, you become a vessel through which divine energy can flow. Every choice becomes meaningful, every moment sacred, and every day an opportunity to align with the greater work unfolding within and around you. Carry this wisdom into your daily life. Observe the quiet guidance and honor the journey as it unfolds. Allow yourself to be present, aware, and receptive, knowing that each small act contributes to the masterpiece of your life. If this message resonates, join our community at Shaolin Soulfire. Like, subscribe, and continue walking this path of inner mastery and spiritual awakening, where ancient wisdom meets the rhythm of your everyday life. Peace, patience, and presence will always guide you forward.